Let's jump right in. Today, we're unpacking the story of a heroine whose unparalleled courage under fire didn't just alter the course of a single day, but actually forged an entire legacy that echoes through history. If you've ever wondered what it really takes to hold your ground when literally everything around you is falling apart, well, you're in the right place for this explainer. Let's get started.
I want you to just close your eyes for a second and really picture the scene. It's the battlefield of Uhud. The air is incredibly thick with this choking dust you can barely see 2 feet in front of you. There's a deafening sound of charging warriors, the clash of metal, just absolute overwhelming chaos. And right in the middle of all that danger, when the battle lines break and so many start to flee the field, you have this stark, powerful contrast. One fearless woman, in full armor, standing her ground. Take a second to really think about that. What makes a person step forward into that kind of danger? Especially when human instinct, and frankly the actions of almost everyone around them, are screaming at them to retreat. What's the true anatomy of that kind of courage?
Let's dive into this. The woman standing firm in that sheer chaos is Nusaybah bint, may Allah be pleased with her. And in Islamic history, she holds a legendary and honestly highly specific title, the woman who protected the Prophet ﷺ. She isn't just a participant in the events of early Islam, she is a completely central defining figure.
Let's set the stage. Section 1. The Battlefield of Uhud. Chaos and Contrast.
Now, what's really interesting to note is the sheer contrast on that battlefield. The Battle of Uhud wasn't just some simple, organized clash. When the battle lines broke, absolute panic set in. On one side, you have this chaotic retreat, and then on the other, you have the immovable magnitude of Nusaybah's bravery. Wearing full armor, she didn't just happen to be standing there, she made a highly active, conscious choice to hold the line.
Moving on to Section 2, From Water to Sword, the Turning Point. Let's look at how this builds, because it happened so fast. Initially, Nusaybah was providing critical, life-saving care, right? Bringing water to the wounded. But as the enemy suddenly advances, she doesn't run. She drops the water, and she picks up a sword and a shield. Within minutes, she transitions from a healer to a frontline defender. It's just a breathtaking pivot, and it's made even more incredible when you realize she was around 40 years old at the time.
Which brings us to Section 3, Shielding the Prophet, the ultimate defense.
Try to think of the Prophet ﷺ symbolically here, like a guiding, glowing light, right in the middle of a dark, chaotic battlefield. The whole reason Nusaybah stepped into the absolute deadliest part of the fray was because she saw that light being threatened. With extraordinary courage, she threw herself directly in front of it, literally becoming a human shield against the advancing enemy.
Section 4. Scars of Sacrifice, Unshaken Determination.
She received several wounds. Actually, let's be specific. Historical accounts note she suffered up to 13 distinct injuries that day, including a really severe strike to her shoulder. Just let the gravity of that physical sacrifice settle for a moment. She took multiple heavy strikes that were meant for the Prophet ﷺ. Yet despite the immense pain and exhaustion, her determination was completely unshaken. And her bravery wasn't just some fleeting, adrenaline-fueled reaction. Look at her immediate next steps. Step 1, she bandages her severe wounds. And then Step 2, she gets right back up to join subsequent Muslim campaigns. This right here is exactly why courage defines her legacy. It wasn't a one-off event. It was a lifelong, enduring commitment to her faith and community that set a massive precedent.
And that leads perfectly into Section 5, Courage Defines Her Legacy, a global inspiration.
The crucial point is that her legendary dedication didn't come out of nowhere. It was built on 3 really solid pillars. Unwavering faith gave her purpose. Unshaken patience gave her the endurance to keep going. And ultimate sacrifice was her willingness to put everything on the line. Her entire legacy is defined by this specific brand of courage, proving that true bravery isn't the absence of fear, but taking action in spite of it. Picture a beautiful, peaceful, golden sunrise over Medina. Now imagine a battle-worn sword and shield resting quietly right next to an open Quran. This connection is so vital because it perfectly ties her martial tools, the physical weapons she used, directly back to her ultimate spiritual foundation. It brilliantly illustrates the core message of her entire life. True courage comes from faith in Allah. Her actions at Uhud, they were really just the outward, physical proof of her incredibly deep internal belief. And it's that exact connection between faith and action that makes her legacy so globally inspiring to Muslims to this day.
Faith, courage,
Sacrifice. Three really simple words, right? But man, when you understand the story of the woman behind them, they carry an immense, history-altering weight.
I want to leave you with a lingering thought here. We've been talking about a battle from centuries ago, sure, but her character is totally timeless. If true courage truly comes from faith, what are you willing to stand as a shield for today? In your own life, in your community, when the dust kicks up and things get chaotic, what principles will you absolutely refuse to abandon?
It's an absolutely incredible standard to strive for. Look, if you found this explainer as fascinating and inspiring as I did, please take a quick second right now to like, share, and subscribe. There are so many more incredible stories of the women of Islam waiting to be told, and trust me, you are not going to want to miss them. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.